Good day, everyone. Welcome to Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. This is episode 83, season 4. Today's date is November 30th, 2021. And starting today, I will do something different for the remainder of the year. And before we do that, this program will go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by Kodak Extra Light Camera. And here's a commercial from Christmas 1979 that featured actor Michael Landon. He is best known for his roles in Bonanza and Little House on the Prairie. So here you go.
This Christmas, we're readier than ever to catch all the action with this brand new Kodak Extra Light camera. The built-in flip-out flash means you're always ready. Ready in a flash to get those sharp, clear pictures you might have missed. Catch all your Christmas fun with a Ready in a Flash Extra Light from those built-in flash people at Kodak.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial with Michael Landon with the Kodak cameras. Back then, and even before that, they were very popular items, especially for Christmas. And his Michael Landon's commercials for Kodak, they were well known for, a lot of people liked them because he was starring in his TV show Little House on the Prairie at the time. And that ran, how many years it ran that show? About long time, like not 11 years, almost 10 years, 8 or 9, 10 years. Like, and they did specials of that because he started in a long-running series Bonanza, and that ran from 1959 to 1973. That's a long time. Whew. Like almost at the end of the 50s and all through the 60s and early 70s. Okay. That reminds me, because when I was in grade school, my mother bought me a camera. It wasn't Kodak. It was called Vivitar. A lot of people remember that. The only thing I remember of Vivitar is the actor Orson Welles did the commercials. He was known for Paul Masson wines, and believe it or not, I still have the camera. And I doubt it'll work because there's no film available to buy it, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I might post that on my Facebook page. We'll see. And we'll see about that. Okay. Thank you for joining me. Today's episode, I will discuss two things. Like I said in the beginning of the program, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm doing a sort of a countdown of the most popular posts on my Facebook page, Chicagoland. This will go by months, so I won't do the whole 12 months. Of course I won't. So I'll split it up in 4 months. So I will do January, February, March, and April of 2021. And I'll discuss each one of them. Also, but first I'm going to talk about something about Christmas. I will do that for all the way until December 25th. Memories of Christmas. The past previous podcast episodes, 2 of them, I discussed Christmas TV specials and Christmas TV episodes. But today I will talk about my memories of Christmas ornaments that my mother had or still have, decorating the tree. And there's a little story about that. So when I was very little, when I lived in South Shore in the late 60s, South Shore neighborhood in Chicago, that is, there's a picture of me. I posted on my profile on Facebook there when I'm about maybe 1 year old, and it's my parents' first Christmas tree, and we lived on Kingston Avenue. And my mom bought the ornaments. From what I remember, I'm not sure, probably across the street. Well, not across the street. It was on 75th Street, and there was a Walgreens there. And there was a Woolworths on 79th and Colfax. And I'm trying to think what other. And there was a 5 and dime store called Scott's. Yeah, or Scott. Or, yeah, it was called Scott. And so over the years, my mom collected or bought ornaments throughout the years. Then we moved to Roseland in 1969, and then she bought more, probably at Gately's People's Store or Kresge's that was next door to that, or a couple doors down of People's Store. And of course, over time, she bought them at Woolworths. You could, and then and stores that carried ornaments were Zare, Community, Turnstile, Venture, and some were beautiful. But you know what? The ornaments were fragile. So when you drop one, they're gone. So plastics came later. They really did. I'm not sure exactly. And my mother had different kinds of them. There were different colors, different designs. They were beautiful. But the funny thing is, over time, we started losing them. And then she bought plastic ones. Some were very pretty. But when we moved to Ashburn neighborhood in 1974, we brought the Christmas tree, of course. We've had that Christmas tree. It's an artificial one, and then over the years we bought others. In 1975, we had a big flood in our neighborhood. Oh, a big one, massive one. It was horrible. I have pictures of that. And the Christmas decorations were in the basement, and the flood ruined them. And my mom was devastated. She was very sad because she had to throw them away, and that's why I didn't see any more of those. Every Christmas, I look forward to seeing those beautiful ornaments on the trees. On the tree, that is, so I'm sorry, on the Christmas tree. But, now, I decorate every year. I help my mom out, and then we still have the ornament. There's only about maybe one or two of the originals from the 60s. We still have those, and they're fragile. So thank goodness we salvaged those. But, over the years, and somebody mentioned that I would discuss the Christmas tree at Marshall Fields, which is now Macy's, and I will do that on a future episode. That would be an interesting topic. So thank you for suggesting that. And let's see. So, it broke my heart when the Christmas ornaments were damaged, because of the flood in the basement. Okay. That's all for about Christmas ornaments. Now we go back. Now we're going to discuss what I said before. It'll be my most popular posts on Chicagoland, the Facebook page. I will do. It'll be 4 parts. I know I'm repeating myself, so it'll be January, February, March, and April. So we're going to get started. For January's post was Cuddly Dudley. A lot of people in Chicago would remember him very well, and he was the talking puppet or the stuffed animal that was provided by the Chicago Tribune. If you subscribe to them, you will receive it. And I won't go into more detail. I won't go into detail of that because, one, I wrote a story about the Cuddly Dudley in January on my blog, the Chicagoland blog, but I did not do a podcast episode because I started my podcast episode in March 24th. So that was 2 months later. But I will do a podcast episode of Cuddly Dudley, a full-length episode next year, probably in January. I will do that, and that should be a lot of fun. And the post in January for Cuddly Dudley reached 84,600 people. That's a lot. That's the highest. So it's not the highest on my page, but as soon as people saw it, it brings a big smile to them because they either had it or they wish they had it. I wish I had it. I wanted that, but just the memories of watching him on Ray Rayner. When Rayner came over to his house, he rang the bell and they spoke, and Cuddly Dudley told jokes and his laugh. Oh, and later on he appeared on Bozo Circus. So. He's still part of our lives. He's a Chicago institution. We love him. Okay. Next up, for February, This was a post in February. It was for the Chicago Telephone Exchange List. Now, this means that in the old days, telephone numbers had two letters in front of it instead of numbers, which is today. And like for example, let me try to think. In South Shore, it was SO when we lived, and then when we moved to Roseland, I think it was PU for Pullman. That was a neighborhood nearby. And when I posted this, it reached 54,200 people, and they all remembered their phone numbers. Older people remember that, and it was it's very interesting. I can't think of some on top of my head, others that is, because there were a lot on the north side, and that stopped about maybe in the '60s, and then just like when we got zip codes, and they got rid of the letters for the exchanges that is, and I still remember my phone number when I lived in Roseland and where I lived in Ashburn. Not South Shore. I don't. I was very little. I don't know. I even asked my parents. They don't remember, but they've got it written down somewhere. Hopefully, I'll find it. And so that was, hit hit something close to home to people. They loved it, even though today they're cell phones. And then recently, they found out if you're in the my area code's 708. They added a new area code. So if you dial somebody within 708, you could just dial a number, but that's not true anymore. You got to do one, then the area code. Just like if you go to another area code, like 630 or 773-312-847. Now it's within. You got to do that because they added a new area code for cell phones and all that. But that doesn't change. But if you move, or if you want a landline, it's not popular anymore, or you get a new cell phone number, it will be the new one. I can't think of what it is on top of my head. So thank goodness for that. Okay. Next up for March of 2021 is the entrance to Carson Peary Scott. Now this is the outside entrance. I posted a photo of the inside, but that wasn't a few months later. But this one was a popular post. It reached 106,900 people. And this photo was taken in 1966, 67. And it's a color photo. Beautiful. Oh, the architecture of Carson Peary Scott. It was the architect by Louis Sullivan. Building's still there. Carson's is not, because Target moved in. I went once in there. It was just a Target, but the architecture, it feels like Carson's. Oh, you can see that. I remember my mother taking me when I was little. We went shopping there. I remember the elevators, and they were beautiful. And I think Carson's the elevators were gorgeous compared to Marshall Fields. Marshall Fields were nice, and so so a lot of people miss the store. They really do. I miss it too. It came back for a while. It was online now. No. So hopefully by some strange miracle, it will return. I don't know, because there was no buyer for the store when it was when they announced they're going to shut it down. So that's a shame. It's a real shame of that. Okay, and let's see, okay, and then we have in April. This was an interesting photo. This was a newsstand. A photo was taken of a newsstand in the 1960s. It was located on Randolph and State. It was right across the street from the famous cigarette billboard, right on top of Walgreens. When you stare and you saw blowing smoke. I discussed this in my cigarette episode. And that reached 45,800. That's pretty good. And people don't buy newspapers anymore. Some do. I mean, you don't see newsstands anymore. I haven't been downtown in a long time, but you don't see them in the corner. The vending machines that carry newspapers, they're empty. There's nothing. Nothing. If you want to buy a newspaper, I said you better go to a 7-Eleven or any liquor store. Uh, some sort of a convenience store you would find newspapers, you know. When I was growing up, I used to buy USA Today. I bought it in during the 80s and the 90s. Every time I went to school, had to write, or went to work, always bought a USA Today. And I love the newspaper. It's changed somewhat over the years, but then I stopped about by the time I got laid off at American Express Travel. And because of costs, so I haven't bought the paper since. I miss it sometimes because when I went to DeVry Institute in the 80s, the DeVry Institute of Technology, excuse me, I didn't drive there. I took the bus and I took the L. I took the blue line to get off at Belmont. And I always read the paper. I read the paper. You know, and sometimes I would study. You know, I would that was top priority. I would if I had a test that day, I would read, and but I enjoyed reading the paper. Sometimes I did that. I read that, but my family subscribed to the Tribune. Okay, so that's the first 4 months of 2021. So in future episodes, I would do, for example, May, June, July, August, etc. And towards the end of the year, I will do it will be the top posts of 2021. I will discuss each one of them like I did today, and also post photos of it. I do that every around New Year's Eve. See which post people really like, you know, because of the engagements of looking at it. Okay, and I have a little more time, and so I'll discuss. There's a couple of things I want to mention. Somebody wrote in. I discussed my Christmas TV episodes. I wrote down a list, and I mentioned Kolchak the Night Stalker. And one episode featured a werewolf. It was on a cruise ship, and they celebrated Christmas. Now, it wasn't really a Christmas episode. It only lasted a few minutes, but but it's like Die Hard, the movie. I love the movie, but to me, it's not a Christmas movie. I mean, it's set in Christmas, of course, and but it's not heartwarming. It's it's a shoot 'em up, violent movie. I mean, it's about divorce, and it's kind of, if you think about Christmas, it's kind of depressing, But at the end, there's a happy ending. Thank goodness for that. But it's not a movie I would watch at Christmas time. I would watch it anytime. That's, to me, it's an action picture. That's what it is. Just like Gremlins. It was set in Christmas, but it's about, of course, if you watch the 1984 movie, it's about Gizmo, and the rest of Gremlins multiply and create havoc all over the town, which is a funny movie. Excuse me, it's a funny movie. I love it. I really like the movie. But there are others, but I won't go into details. Maybe someday I'll discuss Christmas movies in a future episode. We'll see. I discuss TV specials and TV episodes. So we'll discuss. And also coming up, I will discuss is the 75th anniversary of It's a Wonderful Life. Now, that'd be an interesting episode to discuss. Excuse me. Talk too much. I'm coughing. So we got a few more things to talk about Christmas down the road. Probably about I mentioned maybe the Christmas tree in Marshall Fields or the Christmas decorations, in the windows in the department stores. Gift wrapping, gift boxes, of what we eat, even old fashioned stuff, and so that'd be fun. That'd be fun. We'll see. Maybe commercials, TV commercials. We'll discuss. There's so many. I have a few. I have a lot of episodes in December. Okay, this will be a very short episode today. Thank you for joining me. I'm glad you listened. This is episode 83, season 4 of Van Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I discussed The most popular post in 2021. This is part one, and also Christmas ornaments and my memories of seeing those vintage ornaments hanging on my Christmas tree. Okay, this is Pete Castana signing off, and this is bye bye for me. And here's bye bye now from Ray Rayner. Take care, everybody. So long.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.